She screamed one thing. I didn't do it. But no one listened. The evidence was perfect. Too perfect. The judge didn't hesitate. The jury didn't doubt. And just like that, an innocent woman was buried alive behind bars. But years later, one small mistake, one hidden truth, would tear the entire case apart. And what they discovered next shocked everyone. It started with a scream. Sharp, sudden, terrifying. The kind of scream that makes your blood freeze. Neighbors rushed outside. Lights turned on. Doors opened. And there, on the cold ground, a man lay motionless, blood spreading beneath him. Then they saw her, standing just a few steps away, shaking, breathing hard, her hands stained red. Call the police! Someone shouted, but no one moved closer, because the way she stood there, silent, frozen, it didn't look like fear. It looked like guilt. Within minutes, sirens cut through the night. Police cars surrounded the house. Flashing lights painted everything red and blue. An officer stepped forward. Slow, careful. Ma'am, step away from the body. She didn't move. Her lips trembled. I didn't do this. Her voice barely came out. The officer exchanged a glance with his partner. They had heard this before. Too many times. Turn around, he said. Cold, firm. Her eyes widened. No, please. You don't understand. But they were already moving. Hands grabbed her. Metal cuffs snapped shut. Glick. That sound echoed louder than her screams. I didn't do it, she cried. I swear. I didn't do it. But the crowd had already decided. Whispers spread like fire. She killed him. I knew something was wrong with her. Look at her hands. No one asked questions. No one waited. As they pushed her into the police car, she looked back one last time. At the body, at the blood, at the nightmare she couldn't escape. Tears streamed down her face. I didn't do it, she whispered again. But deep inside, a darker thought crept in, something that made her heart race even faster. Because she remembered something small, something terrifying. Just minutes before the scream, she wasn't alone. The police car door slammed shut. And with that, her old life ended. Forever. If you think she's innocent or hiding something, comment below and don't forget to subscribe, because the truth is far more dangerous than it looks. The street was sealed off. Yellow tape stretched across the yard. Flashing lights still cut through the darkness. But something felt wrong. Too quiet. Too controlled. Officers moved carefully around the body. Photos were taken. Evidence markers placed. Every detail documented. But one officer paused. He looked closer, then frowned. The body, it didn't match the story. No signs of struggle, he muttered. Another officer glanced over. What? He was attacked, but he didn't fight back. Silence. That didn't make sense. Across the yard, she sat in the back of the police car, hands cuffed, tears still falling. Her eyes weren't wild. They weren't angry. They were confused. I didn't do it, she whispered again. Inside the house, detectives began their search. The living room was untouched. Furniture perfectly in place. No broken glass. No signs of chaos. Too clean. One detective opened a drawer. Nothing. Another checked the kitchen. Everything normal. Then they found something. A glass, half full, sitting alone on the table. Bag this, the detective said. But that wasn't all. Near the back door, there were faint marks, almost invisible. Like someone had been there, watching, waiting. Footprints? One officer asked. The detective shook his head. Too light, almost like they didn't want to be seen. A chill ran through the room. Back outside, a witness stepped forward, nervous, shaking. I heard voices, he said. The officer leaned in. What kind of voices? Two, maybe three people. The officer's expression changed. Three? But there was only one suspect. Her. In the police car. She closed her eyes, trying to remember. The sound, the movement, that moment before the scream. And then it hit her. A shadow, standing near the door. Watching. Her eyes snapped open, heart racing. There was someone else, she whispered. But no one was listening. Because inside, the evidence was already telling a different story. Her fingerprints were everywhere. On the glass, on the door, even on the weapon. Perfect, clean, undeniable. Too perfect. And that's when the detective realized something. Something small, but terrifying. This case, he said slowly, is either very simple. He looked back at the house, at the silent rooms, at the untouched space. Someone wanted it to look that way. Outside, the police car engine started. And as she was driven away, one question lingered in the air. If she didn't do it, then who did? Do you think the evidence is real or planted? Comment your theory below. Subscribe now, because the truth is starting to break. The courtroom was packed, every seat filled, every eye on her. Whispers spread like poison. That's her. The killer? She looked so normal. She sat still, hands folded, chains around her wrists. Her lawyer leaned in. Stay calm, he whispered. But his voice lacked confidence. Because deep down, he already knew. This case was slipping away. The judge entered. Silence fell instantly. Bring in the jury. 12 strangers, 12 faces that would decide her fate. She looked at them, searching for something. Hope, doubt, anything. But found nothing. The prosecutor stood, confident, calm, prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, he walked slowly, measured steps. This is not a complicated case. He held up a photo, the crime scene, the body, the blood. And this woman, he pointed directly at her. I was found standing over the victim. Murmurs filled the room. Her fingerprints were on the weapon. Her fingerprints were on the glass. Her presence undeniable. Each word hit like a hammer. Her heart pounded. No, that's not. Silence, the judge snapped. The prosecutor continued. She had the opportunity. She had access. And most importantly, he paused, looked at the jury. She had no explanation. Her lawyer stood up, nervous, sweat on his forehead. My client insists she is innocent. Insists, the prosecutor cut in, almost smiling. Then where is the proof? Silence, heavy, crushing. Her lawyer hesitated, just for a second. But that second was enough. The jury noticed. Everyone noticed. And just like that, doubt disappeared. A witness was called. The neighbor. I saw her, he said, voice shaking. Standing there, with blood on her hands. Another witness. I heard a scream, then silence. Each testimony tightened the noose. She wanted to scream, to fight, to explain. But every word she spoke felt smaller than the evidence against her. There was someone else, she finally shouted. Gasps filled the courtroom. The judge slammed the gavel. Order. Someone else was there, she cried again. I saw a shadow. A shadow? The prosecutor repeated, cold, mocking. You expect this court to believe in shadows? Laughter echoed softly, cruel. Her voice broke. I'm telling the truth. But the truth was losing. Fast. Hours later, the jury returned. No hesitation, no delay. The verdict was already written on their faces. Guilty. The word echoed, loud, final. Her world shattered. Tears fell instantly. No, please. The judge raised his voice. You are hereby sentenced. Time slowed, everything blurred. To life imprisonment. A gasp, then silence. Her knees gave out, but the guards held her up. I didn't do it, she whispered, one last time. But this time, even she sounded unsure. As they dragged her away, a man watched from the back of the courtroom, silent, still, a faint smile on his face, and no one noticed him leave. Do you think the real criminal was in that courtroom? Subscribe, because the truth is about to get darker. The prison gates slammed shut. Heavy, final. That sound meant one thing. There was no going back. She stepped inside. Cold air, colder eyes. Women lined the corridor, watching, judging, waiting. Fresh one, someone whispered. She kept her head down, heart pounding. Keep walking, the guard said. Every step felt heavier, like the walls were closing in. They stopped at a cell. Rusty bars, cracked concrete, a thin mattress in the corner. This is you. The door opened, then slam. Locked. She flinched. For the first time, she was truly alone. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time didn't make sense anymore. Then a voice. You don't belong here. She froze, slowly turned. Her cellmate, sitting in the shadows, watching her. What? She whispered. The woman stood up, calm, quiet, too calm. I've seen killers, she said, stepping closer. You don't look like one. Tears filled her eyes. I'm not. The woman studied her face, long, deep. Then someone wanted you here. Those words hit differently. Because deep down, she already knew. I saw someone that night, she said, voice shaking. A shadow. The cellmate didn't react, didn't question. Just nodded. Shadows don't leave fingerprints, she said. Silence. Her breath caught. Because that was true. So how did yours get everywhere? The woman added. No answer. Because she didn't know. That night, sleep didn't come. Every sound felt louder. Footsteps, whispers, metal clanging. And then, something else. A soft noise. From the corridor. She sat up, listening. Footsteps, slow, careful. Stopping right outside her cell. Her heart started racing. Hello? She whispered. No response. Just silence. Then a shadow, passing across the floor. Her breath stopped. It felt familiar, too familiar. Who's there? She called out. Nothing. The shadow was gone. Guards didn't come. No alarms. Nothing. As if it never happened. Morning came. Harsh, loud. The prison woke up. But she didn't move. Because one thought kept repeating in her mind. That shadow. It wasn't new. It was the same one from the night of the murder. And somehow it had followed her here. Her hands started shaking. Because this wasn't just a mistake. This wasn't just bad luck. Someone was watching her. Even now. And they weren't done yet. Do you think the shadow followed her? Or was it always closer than she thought? Subscribe now, because the truth inside these walls is more dangerous than outside. Prison changes people. Fast! Days turned into routine. Wake up, count, eat, silence. But she couldn't adjust, because her mind never stopped. That shadow, that night, that feeling, it wasn't over. Her cellmate watched her closely. You're thinking too much, she said. I saw it again, she whispered. The woman's eyes narrowed. Where? Outside the cell, last night. Silence. Then slowly, Her cellmate stepped closer. "Then listen carefully," she said, voice low. "Serious? This place doesn't allow accidents." A chill ran down her spine. "People don't just get followed in here," she continued, "unless someone wants them watched." Her heart skipped. "Watched? Why?" The cellmate leaned in. "Because you know something." Silence. Heavy. She shook her head. "I don't." "You do," the woman cut in. "Maybe you just don't remember yet." That hit hard, because deep inside, something was there, hidden, buried. Later that day, they were sent to the common area. Eyes followed her, whispers again. "The killer. That's her." She tried to ignore it, until someone bumped into her. Hard. She stumbled. "Watch it," the woman snapped. Cold eyes, dangerous smile. "I didn't mean—" But it was too late. The woman leaned closer, whispering just enough for her to hear. "You should have stayed quiet that night." Her blood ran cold. "What?" But the woman walked away, like nothing happened. Her hands started shaking again. That wasn't random. That wasn't prison talk. That was a warning. Back in the cell, she couldn't stop replaying it. "You should have stayed quiet." What did she see? What did she hear? And then a memory flickered. Quick! Blurry. That night, standing in the house, the glass on the table, someone handing it to her. "Drink this." A voice, not the victim. Different. Her eyes widened. "I remember something," she whispered. Her cellmate looked up instantly. "What?" There was someone else inside, before everything happened. Who? I couldn't see clearly, but her breath got heavier. "They gave me a drink." Silence. Then the cellmate spoke, slowly. "And after that?" Her head started to hurt. I can't remember." But one thing was clear. Her fingerprints. They were placed. Not naturally. Deliberately. Someone made sure of it. This wasn't just a setup, the cellmate said. This was planned. A long pause. Then she asked the question that changed everything. "Who benefits from you being here?" Silence filled the cell. Because suddenly, this wasn't random anymore. This was personal. Very personal. That night, she couldn't sleep again. Not from fear, but from realization. She wasn't just a victim. She was a target. And somewhere out there, the person who did this was still watching. Waiting for her to remember. Who do you think gave her that drink? Someone she trusted, or someone hiding in plain sight? Subscribe, because the next clue will change everything. Some memories don't fade. They hide, waiting for the right moment to return. That moment had come. She sat on the edge of her bed, breathing slowly, trying to hold onto the fragments. The glass, the voice, the feeling. "I know that voice," she whispered. Her cellmate watched closely. "Then don't let it go." She closed her eyes, forced herself back into that night. The room, dim light, silence. Then a laugh. Soft, familiar. Her eyes snapped open. "No," she said, shaking her head. "What is it?" her cellmate asked. "I've heard that laugh before." Silence. "Where?" She hesitated. Because the answer didn't feel right. At work. Her voice dropped. "I think It was someone from my office. The cellmate leaned back, thinking. So this started before that night. Her heart sank. Because suddenly, everything connected. Her job, her routine, the people around her. One face appeared in her mind. Clear, sharp, always smiling, always calm. Too calm. There was someone, she said slowly. Someone who knew everything about me. Name, the cellmate said. She hesitated again, because saying it out loud made it real. I don't remember the name, she admitted, but I remember the eyes. Cold, calculating. Watching her, even back then. Days passed, but now she wasn't the same. She started paying attention to guards, to inmates, to movements. And then she noticed something. A guard, always near her block, always watching her cell. Too often. Do you see him? She whispered to her cellmate. The woman glanced quickly, then looked away. Don't stare, she muttered. Why is he always here? She asked. Silence. Then quietly, her cellmate spoke. Because you're important. Her chest tightened. I'm not. You are, she interrupted. Someone went through a lot of effort to put you here. A pause. They won't just forget about you. That night, something changed. Lights out. Silence. But she stayed awake, watching, waiting. And just like before, footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Stopping outside her cell. Her heart pounded. This time, she didn't speak. She just watched. Through the darkness, a figure stood there. Still, silent. Then, something dropped. A small object, sliding across the floor. The figure disappeared. Gone, just like that. She rushed forward, hands shaking. Picked it up. A piece of paper. Folded. She opened it slowly. 3 words. You remember yet? Her breath stopped. That wasn't a threat. That was a message. From someone who knew exactly what she saw. Her hands trembled. Because now, there was no doubt. The person behind all of this was close. Very close. Who do you think is watching her inside the prison? The guard, or someone even more dangerous? Subscribe now, because in the next part, someone from outside enters the game. Outside the prison, life moved on. News faded. People forgot. But not everyone. One man didn't believe the story, not for a second. A journalist, quiet, observant, obsessed with details others ignored. He stared at her case file, photos spread across his desk. Something felt wrong. Too clean, too perfect. No struggle, he murmured. He picked up the crime scene photo again. The body, the position, the blood pattern. It didn't match a sudden attack. It looked staged. He leaned back, thinking. Who sets a scene like this? He whispered. Someone careful, someone patient, someone who plans. He dug deeper. Police reports, witness statements, court transcripts. Line by line, word by word. And then he found it. A small detail, ignored by everyone. The neighbor's statement. I heard 2, maybe 3 voices. He froze. 3? But only one person was ever charged. He flipped through more pages. Faster now? No follow-up. No investigation into other suspects. Nothing. That's not a mistake, he said slowly. That's a choice. Meanwhile, inside the prison, she stared at the note again. You remember yet? Her hands wouldn't stop shaking, because she was starting to remember. Not everything, but enough. That voice, that laugh. It wasn't just familiar. It was someone she trusted. Her chest tightened. Who are you? She whispered into the silence. No answer. But somewhere, someone heard her. Back outside, the journalist visited the crime scene. The house stood empty now, silent, cold. He walked slowly through it. Living room, kitchen. Everything exactly as the photos showed. But then he noticed something. The table, where the glass had been found. He crouched down, looked closer. A faint scratch, barely visible. Like something had been dragged. Moved, he whispered. The glass wasn't originally there. Someone placed it after. His heart started racing. That means the fingerprints were planted. Back in prison, she sat up suddenly. Another memory hit her. Fast! Clear. That night, she wasn't standing. She was sitting at that table, drinking. Her eyes widened. They moved me, she whispered. Her cellmate turned. What? I wasn't near the body. Her voice shook. I was at the table. Silence. Then slowly, her cellmate smiled. Then the whole story is a lie. Back outside, the journalist made a call. I need access to the evidence, he said. The voice on the other end hesitated. That case is closed. Not anymore, he replied. Then he hung up. Because now he knew one thing for sure. She didn't just lose her freedom. It was taken from her. And someone went to great lengths to make sure of it. Back in her cell, she clutched the note tightly. You remember yet? Her breathing slowed. Because now she had an answer. Yes, she whispered. I'm starting to. And somewhere in the shadows, a quiet smile appeared. Do you think the journalist is getting closer to the truth? Or walking into a trap? Subscribe, because the next part will expose the first real suspect. The note burned in her hands. She stared at it. You remember yet? Her mind raced. Every memory, every detail, every face, replayed like a film. The shadow, the drink, the laugh, the hands that weren't hers. Someone had planned this. The cellmate leaned closer. Do you know who did it? Her lips trembled. I think I do. Flashback. Her office, the night before the murder. She had stayed late finishing reports. The lights flickered. A figure appeared in the doorway. Familiar, friendly, too friendly. They offered her a glass of water. She hesitated, but trust and exhaustion won. The last thing she remembered was the drink. Her eyes widened. It's him, she whispered, the man from the office. He's the one who started this. The cellmate's eyes narrowed. Then you need proof. Back outside, the journalist dug through files. Personnel records, emails, surveillance footage. Nothing seemed conclusive at first. Then a slip. An internal memo. Ensure the scene is undisturbed. Leave fingerprints for authenticity. His heart pounded. This wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. Someone deliberately framed her. And the man she remembered, he had access. He had motive. He had everything. Back in the cell, she stared at the ceiling. Her voice low. Everything points to him. Her cellmate smiled. Then you'll get your chance. The next morning, footsteps echoed differently. A guard approached, not the usual one. He handed her a letter, no words outside, just a signature. Her heart skipped. It was from him, the first real suspect. She unfolded it. Remember everything, it said. A cold shiver ran down her spine. He wasn't just watching her. He was toying with her. And he wanted her to know that he was always one step ahead. Her fists clenched. The fight wasn't over. It was only just beginning. Outside, the journalist connected the dots. The same memo, the same man, the same office. The frame was perfect. But one mistake, one small clue, and everything would crumble. The real story was about to explode. Who do you think is the mastermind behind her frame? The office man or someone even closer? Subscribe and hit the bell. The truth is about to get dangerous. The journalist didn't wait. He went straight to the police station. Case file number 4729, he said, placing a stack of papers on the desk. I want everything. Evidence, photos, witness statements. The officer behind the counter frowned. That case is closed. Nothing more to give. Closed doesn't mean right, he said coldly. Hours later, he was back in his office. He spread the evidence across the floor. Photos, fingerprints, notes. Then he noticed something. The blood spatter didn't match the body's position. The weapon's fingerprints, only hers, but someone else had touched it before, then wiped it. And the glass, the fingerprints were planted. His heart raced. Someone wanted her to look guilty. Meanwhile, inside the prison, she was piecing it together too. Each memory returned slowly. The laugh, the shadow, the drink, the office. Her eyes narrowed. Everything points to him, she muttered. The cellmate nodded. Then tell him you remember everything. Her fingers trembled as she scribbled a note. One name, one accusation. She handed it to a guard. Outside, the journalist had found a witness. A neighbor who hadn't spoken before. I heard 3 voices, he whispered nervously. 3? The journalist asked sharply. Yes, one wasn't supposed to be there, but I saw him leave. He wrote down the description, and it matched the man from her office. Back inside, she received a reply. A small folded note slid under her cell door. Careful, you're playing with fire. Her blood ran cold, but it only confirmed what she already knew. Someone was afraid. Someone was hiding the truth. And now the journalist and she were both digging. At the same time. From different angles. And soon their paths would collide. Because the first real pieces of the puzzle were finally coming together. But the biggest shock was still waiting. Do you think the office man is acting alone, or is there a bigger plan? Subscribe now, because the next part will expose a shocking twist. The evidence was mounting. The journalist had photos, statements, and notes. Inside the prison, she clutched the folded note again. Careful, you're playing with fire. Her mind raced. Who could have warned her? Then it hit her. The shadow, the guard. It wasn't random. Someone was inside, someone she trusted, or thought she could. The journalist called her lawyer. Meet me. I have proof someone framed her. Her stomach twisted. They met in a dimly lit office. He laid out everything. Photos of fingerprints planted, evidence manipulated, witnesses coached. And the kicker, he said. Someone powerful wanted her gone. Her eyes widened. Who? She whispered. He hesitated. Then slowly, he said the name. Her jaw dropped. It wasn't just the office man. It was the victim's own brother. The man she had trusted the most. The one everyone overlooked. He had orchestrated everything. The drink, the shadows, the planted fingerprints, the perfect crime scene. And now the truth was finally surfacing. Back in prison, she realized something terrifying. He knew I'd be watched. He knew someone would look into it. The shadow outside her cell was his way of mocking her. The note slid under her door again. This time, it was different. 3 words. You know now. Her fists clenched. Outside, the journalist smiled grimly. The puzzle was nearly complete. All that remained was confrontation. But that confrontation would change everything, and not everyone would survive it. Do you think she can survive facing the real mastermind? Subscribe, because the next part will reveal the truth that shocks everyone. The courtroom lights were harsh. The seats were packed again. She walked in. Chains gone this time. Freedom, but only temporary. The journalist handed the evidence to the new prosecutor. Photos, notes, testimonies, every planted fingerprint documented. The room fell silent. He called the first witness. The neighbor. I heard 3 voices, he said again. And one left quietly. A man I didn't know, the journalist pressed. The courtroom murmured. Then came the twist no one expected. The victim's brother entered. Calm, confident, smiling. He tried to appear innocent. But the evidence crushed him. Emails, memos, surveillance, witness testimony. Every detail pointed directly to him. The jury gasped. She stared at him, the man who had stolen her life. You manipulated everything, she said, voice steady now. He laughed. Proof. The journalist stepped forward. Here, all of it, your plan. Your fingerprints disguised, your threats. You framed her. Silence. The judge leaned forward. This court finds the defendant guilty of conspiracy, evidence tampering, and framing an innocent woman. The man froze. The courtroom erupted. She felt the weight lift. Years of fear, silence, pain. But the damage was done. She turned to the journalist. Thank you, she whispered. He nodded. Truth always comes out, eventually. Outside the courthouse, sunlight fell across her face. For the first time, she felt safe. But she knew. Someone like him never forgets. And the world could still be cruel. But for now, justice had been served. Do you think her life will ever be the same? Comment below. Share this story. Because the truth always finds a way. The prison gates were empty now. She walked free. Air tasted different. Light felt heavier. Every step reminded her she had survived. The journalist met her outside. Didn't think they'd listen so fast, he said. She smiled faintly. Neither did I, but it's over, isn't it? Not completely. Her mind drifted back to the nights in that cell. The shadows, the footsteps, the whispers. She shook her head. Over, she repeated. The man who framed her, locked away. No one to terrorize her anymore. But the scars remained. Her hands still shook at night, her trust broken. Yet there was hope. She returned to the house she once called home. Empty now, quiet, safe. The memories of that night would never leave her. But the truth finally shone through the darkness. Justice wasn't perfect. It came late. But it came. She closed her eyes. Tears fell. Not from fear, not from pain. From relief. For the first time in years. She was free. And the shadow, gone. For now. Life would never be the same. But she had survived. She had remembered. She had fought. And that was enough. If you believed in her fight, like, comment, and share this story. Subscribe, because sometimes the truth is more powerful than fiction.